I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. You know, when it comes to Disney, some of their most classical and underrated Halloween cartoons, in my opinion, would have to be The Skeleton Dance, The Mad Doctor, The Haunted House, Trick or Treat, How to Haunt a House, Donald's Halloween Scare, and Lonesome Ghosts. Some of these I've already talked about before, back when I blogged Mickey's House of Villains. However, for tonight's episode, I decided to look back at a really underrated Mickey Mouse cartoon from the mid-1990s, which I also think makes a pretty interesting one to watch for the Halloween season. Released on August 11th, 1995, this is Mickey Mouse in Runaway Brain. Now, on for the plot of the short. In an attempt to convince Minnie that he hasn't forgotten to buy her an anniversary present, Mickey Mouse ends up promising to take her to Hawaii. Unfortunately, the trip is really expensive and his funds are low. So, thanks to a newspaper ad, Mickey applies for a job as a lab assistant to the sinister Dr. Frankenollie, who happens to be searching for a donor to provide his monstrous creation named Julius with a brain. After Mickey's mind gets trapped in Julius's body, Mickey's body is turned into a monster, and to make matters worse, Frankenollie is killed during the experiment, and Julius in Mickey's body goes after Minnie. Thus, Mickey in Julius's body must chase the monster down and rescue his girlfriend. So, what do I personally think of this special? Now, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think I might have seen this short somewhere when I was young, but I just can't really remember when or where though. But after watching it a few times on YouTube, not only do I have a very thrilling time, but I also realize how underrated it is. And I think it deserves more recognition, especially during the Halloween season. And to further explain what I'm talking about, let's move on to Mustang notes. After Disney celebrated Mickey Mouse's 60th anniversary in 1988, Mickey starred in The Prince and the Pauper, which was released in theaters with The Rescuers Down Under in 1990. Unfortunately, The Rescuers Down Under failed at the box office, so a new project was sought for the character. The director of the short was Chris Bailey, who also directed It's Tough to Be a Bug. At first, he saw approval from studio president Jeffrey Katzenberg and Disney animation executives Thomas Schumacher and Peter Schneider regarding the rework of an idea that he had for a Roger Rabbit short, which was then known as Tourist Trap, with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck heading on a vacation and Donald attempting to kill Mickey. But after a failed storyboard screening, Bailey received permission from Roy E. Disney to develop another short idea, which became Runaway Brain. Jim Bayhold was assigned with layout, Ian Gooding served as art director, and Andreas Deja, who had animated Scar in The Lion King, developed the monstrous version of Mickey possessed by Julius based on director Bailey's sketches. Disney Animation France, who was just finishing a Goofy movie, was given the animation job. While the crew was in France, Jeffrey Katzenberg left Disney, leaving Bailey without one of the executives who most supported his ideas. While the first screening of the mostly completed short was successful to the executives, Schumacher and Schneider went on to order many changes that would cut scenes and require others to be newly animated. These included not having the monstrous Mickey drooling, toning Mickey's electrocution to be more cartoonish, and having the ending with Julius chasing a Minnie made of pillows to be replaced with having him pursue the wallet picture. When the short was released in theaters, It was first released in 1995, attached to North American theatrical showings of A Kid in King Arthur's Court, which I never saw in theaters, but I did see on the Disney Channel years ago. And in 1996, it was attached to international theatrical showings of The Hunchback of Notre Dame and A Goofy Movie. By the way, the short was to be re-released with 101 Dalmatians in 1996, but sadly, Disney asked theater owners to cut the short off all film prints and replace it with trailers for then upcoming Disney films. Eventually, the short was reissued with George of the Jungle in 1997. Also, Runaway Brain would be the final original Mickey Mouse theatrical animated short until Get a Horse in 2013. And while it was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film at the 68th Academy Awards, it sadly lost to the Wallace and Gromit short, A Close Shave. Now, what are my thoughts on the animation? Well, like a lot of the Mickey Mouse cartoons that I've seen over the years, I think the hand-drawn animation is excellent. And I think the coloring is great too. In fact, it almost reminds me of several cartoons that would later be featured on Mickey Mouse Works from 1999 to 2000. Also, I like that some parts of this short reference other Disney media. For example, Mickey's video game in the beginning is a Snow White version of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Plus, Mickey's wallet contains a photo of him from Steamboat Willie in 1928. And I found it pretty cute when Mickey acknowledges that it was from his old black and white period. Also, Zazu from The Lion King makes a cameo twice throughout this cartoon. And last but not least, in a scene where Mickey falls down a trap door, we see a pink slip with the initials JK, which is a reference to Jeffrey Katzenberg's resignation from the Disney Corporation the previous year. As for the story, well, nowadays, I kind of find it pretty interesting that the general plot of the cartoon refers back to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein story. However, I thought the plot point of Mickey switching brains was really dark, twisted, and thought-provoking, and I just can't believe that his half-brother Oswald asked him if he ever did that during the events of Epic Mickey. Plus, I thought the final climax was really badass. But, do you know what the sad thing is? Well, for some reason, this cartoon is sadly not featured on Disney Plus yet, and it can rarely be found on home media due to it being featured on one of the Walt Disney Treasures DVDs, which unfortunately has a slight audio sync problem. And it's also featured on the Disney Movies Anywhere version of the Walt Disney Animation Studios short films collection, which is also disappointing. So I guess the only way to watch it is either on YouTube or on Kim Cartoon. Anyway, that's all I got for Mustang notes. So, let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. Our main hero, Mickey Mouse, is voiced by the late Wayne Allwine, who sadly died from diabetes in 2009. As always, Mickey Mouse is a beloved Disney character, and during this short, Mickey hopes to make his and Minnie's anniversary a very special one. And thanks to a newspaper ad, which was shown by Pluto, Mickey goes to Dr. Frankenollie in hopes of earning $999.99. But he's shockingly hired to participate in a brain switch with an enormous monster named Julius. However, after said switch, Mickey plans to do whatever he can to get his brain switched back and save his girlfriend. And in my eyes, I thought Mickey was kind of risky, but also very brave and badass. Plus, I thought the part where Mickey subdues Julius was pretty similar to the time when he defeated a giant in the Brave Little Tailor cartoon. Next is Mickey's girlfriend, Minnie Mouse, voiced by the late Russi Taylor, whom was also Wayne Allwayne's wife. Like Mickey, Minnie is also a beloved Disney character, and in the beginning of the short, Minnie doesn't seem very happy due to Mickey having forgotten about their anniversary of their first date. Thankfully, she becomes very delighted when she thinks that Mickey has arranged a trip to Hawaii. Later on, like in most cartoons, Minnie becomes a damsel in distress when Julius, in Mickey's body, pursues her. Thankfully, Mickey, in Julius's body, comes to her rescue, and I liked the part where Mickey places her on top of a skyscraper to be safe, which to me felt pretty similar to King Kong. And I also liked the part where Minnie roots for Mickey by telling him to rip Julius's ears off. Our next character is Dr. Frankenollie, voiced by Kelsey Grammer, whom was in Don Bluth's Anastasia, along with its spin-off Bartok the Magnificent. He narrated Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. He voiced Stinky Pete the Prospector in Pixar's Toy Story 2. He played Ebenezer Scrooge in Hallmark's version of A Christmas Carol in 2004. And he voiced the Tin Man in Legends of Oz: Dorothy's Return. Now, this character is a mad scientist who puts an ad in the newspaper promising to pay $999.99. And when Mickey answers said ad, Frankenollie plans to switch his brain with the brain of his monster, Julius. While the experiment was a success, it also caused an explosion which resulted in Frankenollie's death. Now, I must mention some fun facts regarding this character. Firstly, Frankenollie's name is a play on two famous Disney animators, Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnson. He bears similarities to earlier Mickey Mouse villains, including the Mad Doctor and Professors X, Double X, and Triple X. And his house is a reference to the famous horror movie The Exorcist from 1973, which just recently got a sequel, which I might want to test my courage on soon this month. Plus, I should also mention that Frankenollie's newspaper ad can be found inside the ticket booth of the El Capitan Theater, which houses the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway attraction, which opened at Disneyland back in March of 2023. Finally, we come to Frankenollie's monster, Julius, voiced by Jim Cummings. Now, Julius is a gigantic Frankenstein-like monster who bears a striking physical and vocal similarity to Peg-Leg Pete. As part of the Mad Doctor's experiment, Julius's brain and body were swapped with an unsuspecting Mickey Mouse, leading to citywide chaos as Julius pursues Mickey's girlfriend, Minnie. In my opinion, Julius is very ferocious, especially when his brain is inside Mickey's body. Plus, is it just me, or does the music where Julius makes his first appearance sound pretty similar to the Jaws theme? Plus, I also think Julius is a really tough secret boss in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. And I'm surprised that he's the only enemy you fight where you're not backed up by your spirit Dream Eaters. Anyway, while Sora and Riku's battles with Julius were very tough, I think the way Mickey fights him was pretty quick, simple, and cartoony. And after getting subdued, Julius is accidentally knocked off the building by Minnie, but thankfully he does not die due to him being pulled up repeatedly like a yo-yo by a Hawaiian girl's arm on a billboard. And now on to my final words. Overall, Runaway Brain is not only one of the most underrated Mickey Mouse cartoons out there, but it's also humorous, bizarre, dark, epic, thrilling, and thought-provoking. The hand-drawn animation is great for the time, and it has a pretty heart-pounding story due to the brain-switching plot. Mickey and Minnie are still beloved characters, and I think they're such a sweet Disney couple after nearly a century. Also, I thought Julius was a very ferocious but comical monster, and I'm still surprised that he became a secret boss in the Kingdom Hearts game series. Also, while this short is not available to watch on Disney Plus yet, I would recommend you guys to watch it either on YouTube or on Kim Cartoon. And if you happen to have kids, make sure to watch it with them. And don't worry, you'll all have a thrilling time. I give Runaway Brain a 95% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me this coming Friday, where we look at a crossover film starring two of the most famous horror icons ever, Mustang Power.